Hello, in this video we are going to do payroll journals. So we're going to do this from the start so you know exactly how to set up the nominals, how to set up your employees, and then we're going to go ahead and do this video. So start on Tools, Nominals, and I want you to scroll down to Current Liabilities. Click on Payroll and click New over here and type in so we're going to put in P-A-Y-E, Pirasa. Look at that. It's there already for me. So we're going to put that in. And then we're going to scroll back down to current liabilities. Click on payroll again. Click new. And we're going to put in wages control. Okay. So that is our payroll nominal setup. Because we already have up here employee payroll, employers, PRSI, etc. So then we're going to set up a couple of employees. So the other thing you're going to need, so I might as well do this, show you this now. In order to do your payroll, you're going to need a report like this called gross to net. So we're only going to do a journal once a month. That's plenty. So it doesn't matter if you're paid weekly, you're paid every 2 weeks. None of that matters. You're only going to do your journal once a month. And the reason for that is because your profit and loss is a monthly report. So you don't really need the weekly unless there's a very good reason for that. So we have, as we can see on this, my company, Great Gifts 2, we've got Lola, Stanley, and Kathleen Foley are our employees. So I'm going to show you how to set those up. Click on Purchases, click on Suppliers, click on Add. And we put in Lola. And then click the drop down on Payee and change it to Employee. And then go over here to Default Nominal and you put in Wages Control. So when we're going to use this is when you're recording the paying of your net wages to your employees. So from the bank import, or when you're putting it in, you're choosing, you're putting in their net pay and it's going to automatically default to wages control. And that's exactly where we want it to go. And what we don't want you to use when if you're doing it from miscellaneous payments, do not use this pay salary or expenses button. We're doing this a different way because this way is much quicker. So when you go back then, go back and set up the other employees. So I've got Stanley there and I've got to set up Kathleen now. Okay, so we've set up our employees, we've set up our nominals, and now we're going next to do a journal. So I'm just going to pull up this report again. So this report does not come from SortMyBooks. This report comes from your payroll software. So if you're doing your own payroll, nearly this particular report I think is from a payroll is from payroll software called Payback. We also use Cloud Pay, but all of the payroll softwares will produce a report like this. So if your accountant is doing your payroll for you or your bookkeeper, ask them for a gross to net payroll report once a month, and it will look like this. So what this is giving us then, we're going to now take this information and we're going to put it into a journal in SortMyBooks, so that we will have our monthly payroll inside and SortMyBooks. Okay, so go back to SortMyBooks, click on Accounts tab, click on Journals, click on Add, and the date that you would put in would be the last day of the month. Okay, and then you leave total amount, you leave everything else blank and just click OK. And then you'll get this screen. So up here in description, we're going to put Jan 21 payroll and put in the year because remember, you'll be doing this again next year and the year after. So the first thing we do, we add a new line and I'm going to debit employee payroll. So employee payroll is a profit and loss nominal. So I want to show my profit and loss, my employee payroll, and it's going to be the gross pay. So if I go to my report, my gross pay is here, 9250. So we're only interested in the totals. We're not interested in the individuals for the journal. So 9250. So I put in, wrong place. Okay. So I go to 9250 and I click save. Then I add another new line and I'm doing employer PRSI. And just put that in the description. So you always want to put in the description of the journal what you're actually doing, so it's easy for anyone else to follow you. So okay, so employer PRSI 52855. So we put that there, 52855. So the next part of the journal, so now you can see my debits don't match my credits. So we've got to do the next part of that. So we add a new line, and then I'm doing wages control, crediting wages control with the net pay. So the net pay on my report, 6789.95. Okay, and you can see my journal doesn't balance, so there's one more part to this, and that is all of the taxes. So the payroll, PAYE, PRSI. So I'll call that, well, I guess I'll call it PAYE. Yeah, okay. And then what we have to do to get that figure is we've got to add the PAYE, the USC, the employee PRSI, the employer PRSI, and if we had LPT, we would add that as well. Okay, so when I add those up, it comes to 2988.60, and I click save. And here's what I love about doing the journals by this method. It's kind of self-validating because now our debits match our credits. So now we're going to do the following month's journal, and I want to show you a neat trick for this. Okay, so you click on the previous journal and you just click on duplicate and you put in the date. So the date of the following month. And so I've copied that journal. Okay, I'm going to change the description now because this is February's payroll. And what you do is you get your payroll report for February, and ignore the fact that it's May. I'm taking a bit of poetic license here. So you see, are the numbers the same? So right away we can see we've lost an employee. So the figures are different. So all we got to do is edit the figures here to match what's on the report. So we don't have to start the report from scratch, in other words. So if I start up here with the PAYE, so I'm going to go back to my report and I'm going to add PAYE, USC, EE, PRSI, and ER, PRSI, and LPT. Okay, so I click on that and I change the figure to what the total is for February. And I just do the same down along. So the next one is my net pay. So if I go back to my report, my net pay 4618.16. So I just keep doing this. I just keep going. Do the same for employer PRSI. I pull that straight off the report. I hope you can see now how easy this is, that you're literally just pulling those figures from your payroll report. And that's all I'm going to do for this video because it's super long. So this is the first lesson in wages control, and it's the most important one. This is the foundational one. There are other videos on, different scenarios, like what if we've got pension, if we've got bike to work, if we've got health insurance. Hope that helps. Now remember, the key thing is that the figures on your journal, you should be able to look at your payroll report and see exactly where they came from. Best of luck with it.